From science to magic, from politics to religion, secret societies have carved our history. Today we talk about the top 10 secret societies on this episode of The Twisted 10. Welcome to another episode of The Twisted 10.
What's up, gentlemen?
How you doing?
She did it again.
I did. It feels good. It feels good. I'm going to stick with it.
Gentlemen.
Okay.
I am Adam. I am your host tonight. Your host tonight for this episode of The Twisted 10.
Your list host.
The list host.
The list host.
Okay.
Yeah, the list host. Yeah. Whatever. You know what I mean.
We're co-hosts.
Sitting across from me on the couch. Going to him first, Dick.
I'm Josh. What's going on, guys?
Why am I a dick? I'm Dick.
We don't have enough time for these.
How's everybody doing?
To go over all the reasons for why you're on.
My name's now Richard.
Richard Cranium.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Dickhead.
Welcome to another episode of The Twisted 10.
Hick dead.
Josh, you're almost in your house, dude.
I know.
Almost there.
It's supposed to be 10 days from now.
Supposed to be?
Yes, supposed to be. I only have an estimated closing date on buying our new house.
Aren't you supposed to be out of your old house, though?
So it's like 4 days from when this recording.
Days.
So from when people hear this, like 4 days.
That's true, yeah. So when this releases, 4 days from now, I will effectively be without a home. Huh. Which is fine. It's whatever. I mean, it's not like I'll be sleeping in the car. We
got a Jeep, so you won't be in the car.
So in a matter of like a month's time, you will have one point have been jobless and homeless.
Yeah.
Nice. You really... This podcast is really doing things for your life.
Oh, man.
He's making so much money from the podcast, Ron. Yes. He doesn't have to afford, other regular bills.
I just bought a nice car. I didn't buy a nice car. I have a 2-seater. Can't sleep in that.
Well, maybe you can, just not very comfortably. I've slept in my the 2-seater that I used to have before.
That's true.
You've done a lot of things in 2-seaters that we won't mention on this show.
Yeah, like wheelies and
this
stuff.
This isn't living vicariously.
Oh, 2-seater, not 2-wheeler. Yeah, no. That's very true.
What have you done on a 2-wheeler? That's what I want to know.
What haven't you done in a 2-wheeler? I mean, come on. I don't know, wheelies? I don't know. That's the extent of what I can say.
You ever ride a motorcycle?
No, I won't get on one of those things.
I guess about 145.
Murder cycle.
It was about the fastest I've ever gone.
Nice. How fast?
145.
Holy balls.
I had a VFR Interceptor. Little, it's like a mix between a crotch rocket and a touring bike.
Would you do that now?
What, 145?
Yes.
No.
Okay. So that was just your youth.
Yeah. I mean, who knows, though? If I get behind a nice motorcycle again and just, I get that itch, maybe I will. I don't know.
Do you remember that R1 that I had for a while?
I do.
I bought it from our old coworker. He had replaced the sprocket on that, and it was 2 teeth down, which made it go a little bit faster, accelerated a little bit slower, which is reasonable. And because of the changed sprocket, it had some little plug-in thing that updated the math so the speedometer read correctly because it changes the math, whatever. But it also has a top speed thing, and I found out that R1 tops out 198 miles an hour.
Jesus.
Only one time. Oh my God.
You took it that fast?
You took it to 198?
You couldn't push it out that extra 2 miles an hour to get
have it.
Oh, that's you had it maxed.
I was like all the way down, full tuck on the bike. It was fucking terrifying.
And that sound effect Josh made was actually him shitting himself at 198 miles an hour.
I mean, you do realize you could have just one little miscalculation, you fucking die, right?
Yes.
Ron, that's the same way with you walking to to your car. One miscalculation, you could trip and die. I mean, it's maybe a little bit more risk. Not much.
A little bit more.
That is like
a little bit more between the staircase and 200 miles an hour.
Really bad analogy.
No, it was... I've done that with everything I've ever owned, though. Every car, every bike, I've always maxed it out one time. Evo, I got to about 180. I was more scared in the Evo at 180 than I was on the bike at 200.
The bike has this weird... Have you ever ridden motorcycles before, Ron?
As he asked me 3 minutes ago and I answered, no, I have not. That's
I pulled
okay.
a Ron. And I wasn't looking at my phone.
Totally pulled a Ron on that.
So there's when you're riding a motorcycle, you get it with a little bit with like 10-speed bicycles that can go very fast as well, but it's very minimal. You really feel it in a motorcycle. The centripetal motion of the wheels, because they're so massive, there's so much weight to them, stabilizes your bike. Now, there is some other effects that could happen with shimmying and, whatever at high speeds, but that stabilization almost acts to where you don't necessarily have to touch your handlebars on a motorcycle because you are so centered on the bike because of that. Have you ever played with one of those gyros, like the little gyroscope things? You pull it and it spins around and it's kind of hard to turn.
Absolutely.
That's the exact effect that's happening, but it's stationary up and down.
Okay.
Parallel to or perpendicular to the ground. That's what's happening in a motorcycle. So it's really comfortable when you're going that fast as long as you don't have to turn.
You don't fucking move.
So I did only one of my automobiles that I maxed out one time.
This is like a Tercel.
Oh, please say it. You got it to 76 miles per hour.
Quick little funny story.
Yeah.
It was like, I might have even been coming like home from like Adams or something 20 years ago. Who knows? It was one of those late nights.
Well, then you were drunk.
Coming home. I was in Palm Bay. No, I was not drunk. I do not drive drunk. I'm in Palm Bay on Palm Bay Road.
I need to get that as a clip. I do not drive drunk.
I do not drive drunk. I'm just sitting there at a red light, and I'm the only one on the road, and I'm in my Geostorm.
Hell yeah,
right?
Close.
I'm in my you were.
Wait a minute, you had a Geostorm?
I did.
I had a Geostorm.
I had a white Geostorm. It was actually
we've talked about
it was
this
my wife's
20 years
originally, and then she gave it to me, and we got her like a Nissan or something. But
that's herself.
So I was in this Geostorm, and all of a sudden I'm just sitting there. I'm tired. I'm just tired, just trying to get to this light, trying to get the fucking home, like 5 minutes from the house. All of a sudden I hear this car next to me. I'm like, this motherfucker, this dumbass bitch wants to race a Geostorm.
They look sporty though.
I look over to the left. I look over to the left, and it's another Geostorm. So I'm like, instantly. I'm like, fuck yeah, it's on. Light turns red. We fucking
wait. Light turns red?
Yeah, light turns green. We fucking just punch it. I think I had that motherfucker easy up to like 118. Yeah,
that's about its limit.
That's about as fast as it goes. And my foot was to the floor, dude. I even passed the light where I needed to go.
I had
just
a
so
teal
we
Geostorm.
It was pretty.
I was thinking of the wrong car. This looks like
it's a little sporty car for the time.
Geostorm was a cute little sporty car.
Saturn Probe.
It was a stick shift too.
Same time frame.
Mine was a stick
Mine was
shift.
stick as well.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
That's the car that I learned how to drive stick in. And you know who taught me? My mother. And she's an idiot. Because she took me to teach me how to drive a stick shift. I'm 16 years old learning how to drive the stick in the parking lot of a mall, Mirror Square Mall, actually.
Okay.
And she sits down in the car to teach me in the passenger seat, has me put on my seatbelt and everything, and she has a cup of coffee. So after everything was done and she finished cussing, and I had to clean the coffee off of the roof because inevitably I bucked the shit out of the car, just bump, 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 trying to find the gear. Yeah, that was all over her, all over me, all over the roof of that car. Yeah, that was fun.
Nice.
I got spoiled. I learned how to drive stick on an MR2 Spider.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a little heavy. That's a heavy clutch, though, isn't it?
I mean, it's a 2-seater convertible. I mean, it's a tiny car, and it wasn't like super.
But it's more of a racing style build, though, isn't it?
Not really.
The clutch on a Geostorm is like a feather.
I mean,
but you'll kill it pretty quickly too.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I guess my perspective was real race car versus MR2 now. So
I guess that's true.
It wasn't. I mean, whatever. It's a sport car. It's a production sports car. It's $30,000 2-seater. I mean, was. But yeah, that's what I learned how to drive stick on. My dad just took me in our neighborhood. He's like, "All right, go nuts. You can't burn it out."
That Geostorm was what I learned to drive stick on. Actually, my wife taught me how to drive.
Oh, really?
Yes, she's the one.
Did she bring a cup of coffee?
No, she did not bring
Smart.
a cup of coffee. And then I only had one other stick shift. I think a Honda CRV, like in the early 2000s, a little black Honda CRV, little hatchback. It was a sweet little.
Nice.
No,
car.
not CRV.
A
CRV
Honda
is the
CRX.
CRX, yes,
yeah,
that's
you're
what it
thinking
is.
SUV. Well, CRV is the SUV.
Sorry, a little Honda CRX. It was
CRX.
a sporty little
Awesome.
car. Actually, you and Scott helped me put in like a little system in it, and I was thumping and shit.
I remember that.
Yeah, I really didn't belong thumping in.
You want to tell the story about what happened to that car? I don't know. You might not want to tell that story.
Ooh,
That
save it
sounds
for
like
the
an
after
after
show.
show.
That sounds
All right.
juicy.
Because
It's an
I don't
after car,
even-
or
I don't
after show story.
It's an after car story.
After car
It
story.
I
has
don't
to
even
do
know.
with the death of the car,
I don't even remember.
or at least Ron's death of the car. Anyway, all right, yeah, that'll be a good after show. Hey, add that to the after show topics list for us.
Is this something we can even talk about in the after show?
Maybe not. I don't know.
I
We'll
feel
bring
like
it up.
this is a between
brainstorm.
show.
We'll figure it out.
I'll just say one word, and you'll be like, okay, yeah, no, yes or no, because it's personal. It might not be something you would want to say.
I think I have a feeling, but go ahead.
All right. Oh, you want me to say it now?
Say the one word. Kissimmee?
I-95. Oh, no, I thought it was on I-95.
Just Kissimmee?
Kissimmee, maybe? Oh, no, definitely not that. Holy shit, we got some stories. All right, save it for the show. Save it for the after show, yeah.
I have a follow-on from last week. So
okay. Is that like a hard-on?
No.
Oh.
Yes,
that's a very different experience. So I went back. So I did, for those who haven't heard, top 10 video game franchises of all time, and one of by profitability, and
which has an amazing amount of listens, by the way.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked about it.
We have more downloads of that episode than anything in like the last 3 months.
Probably more than paleoanthropology. We can tell you that.
But so one of the franchises on the list was Dungeon Fighter Online, which is a South Korean / Chinese one. We talked about whalers in the industry, in the gaming industry, and because I hadn't played it and it's free, I went and downloaded it. Holy shit, it's a ton of fun. I understand why it was number 4 in the world for profitability. So, one, microtransactions like crazy. I will not try to undersell that, but the underlying mechanics are really cool. It's like old pixel graphics, or like kind of pixelated graphics, but it plays like an old arcade cabinet, like an adventure game where you're just like covering the map and you've got a couple of abilities and you just fight enemies as they come onto the screen. But imagine that sort of arcade style kind of side and up and down scroller to like go, and it's fantasy oriented, but you have full gear progression and full skill progression, so you get like the full RPG element of like picking a class and building into how you want to play the class, and but all of that while just getting big flashy numbers. It's awesome.
Well, speaking of arcade cabinet, remember we were talking about turning the garage into an arcade little area for us, so we kind of fun. Yeah, that got shot.
I remember you talking.
Yeah, that got shot down already. The wife said no. If you clean that garage out, she's gonna park it.
Didn't we say that's never happening? I remember.
Oh no, you did.
That's never happening.
It would have been cool though. I mean,
I think we should have maybe one
to build a
for
cabinet.
the studio, maybe somewhere. I don't know. All right, we'll figure that shit out.
Like I said, you can get those that have like 50 games in them, like 50 classic games and shit. You don't need to get a bunch of different. Yeah,
I so love that idea. All right, we'll get there. Okay, so I am your host for tonight's list. I always like to try to come in here with a little teaser or a little something fun for you guys to do for the list, but I can't really think of anything that I can do for you. Well, I was going to have you guys recite a pledge for your not Scouts Honor or Girl Scout. What's the 3 fingers? Oh, good time. Sorry, punchline my own joke.
Hunger Games?
That's Hunger Games, but I think it's also Boy Scouts of America or Girl Scouts of America or something. Isn't that Scouts? Maybe it's just Scouts now. Maybe you can't differentiate boys and girls.
No, there's still Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts.
Favor.
Yeah.
Do they allow each other to join? Never mind.
I know that.
No, too soon.
What? No, dude.
I'm just playing with you, dude.
No.
I know for certain that girls are allowed to join the Boy Scouts now. I imagine it was probably pretty reciprocated, but so far as I know, I have not heard that it has gone the other direction.
Have you heard about the 3rd Scout group? It's called the They Scouts of America. Oh, hit the wrong button. All right.
Did people thought that was the end of the show, or we went into the after show there? That's it.
I was trying to find my crickets button. The they, them, their, the other. Okay, anyway.
I almost bought it for a second.
It got better the second time. It did.
Yeah. Did it really? It get better? No. Okay. No. All right. So tonight's list is one I've been working on for a while, meaning it's one that we've talked about. Some of these numbers on this list, some of the particulars on this list, you'll recognize. Some of them you may or may not recognize at all. We've talked about a few of these in the past, but we've never organized this particular group the way we did tonight in this top 10 list. So tonight, I tried finding some angle, like a pledge or something for you guys to say, or some sort of ritual initialization ceremony or hazing or something to try to get us in the mood for this, but I couldn't really come up with anything that would be fun on such short notice. So we're just going to get right into it. Tonight, we're going to discuss the top 10 secret societies around the world.
Heck yes. Nice.
Freemasons? Oh, sorry.
You're easily going to guess a couple. Yes, okay. Freemasons is absolutely
sorry, I won't continue to try and
no, that's fine.
Guess.
Some of them are very obvious. Some of them
I've always
I
been
don't
really
think you'll know
interested
about.
in secret societies, so this is going to be a cool list.
Yeah, so again, this is one of those lists that each one of these particular topics, you could go 2 or 3 hours of a show on each topic. And some shows have done that, but not this. This is just touching on the top level of each one of these groups or societies or associations or, in some cases, businesses that have an air of secrecy to them. Some of them are very famous and very recognizable, but their entire motive is concealed in this secrecy.
Doesn't even Harvard have some kind of secret society, something or other? I was wondering if
I'm sure
I don't
all of
remember
them
what
do.
it was called, but
I don't talk about Harvard's in this, though, so I'll tell you that.
okay.
I talk about another Ivy League schools.
Oh, there's another Ivy
secret
League.
society. Yes,
Okay,
there's
cool.
another Ivy. I think all of the Ivy Leagues have some sort of secret society.
Okay.
This particular one has had some past
I know
presidents.
they.
I
Yeah,
know
no, but
what
so
you're
does
talking about.
so is Harvard's. That's why I was
Oh,
wondering.
really?
Yeah, that's why I was
Harvard
wondering.
might have one. They aren't as famous as this one.
Roger that.
All right, let's just get right into this. So I'm going to define it first. This is according to Wikipedia. A secret society is a club or an organization whose activities, events, inner functioning, or membership are concealed. Now, not all of that is concealed, as some of these you'll find out. People know who's, in some cases, the public knows who's part of this society, but they don't know what they talk about.
Can
in
I
these
ask Josh a
Yeah.
question? Do you know what I'm about to ask you, Josh?
meetings. Something about the team?
Yeah,
Yes.
say something about the team.
Would you
yeah.
consider that a secret society?
No.
Or just an exclusive society?
No.
Exclusivity? Exclusivity is there. There's a rule to get membership into the team.
Yeah, you just can't,
Show up?
You just can't
But that's
be,
still a rule.
You can't be
just-
named Ron Canniff.
You just,
I'm just
No,
kidding.
you can't.
I'm so joking.
You can't
I
just-
guess, yes, to be a member of our secret society, you have to be a member of our secret society.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah, that's the
the rule number one of Fight
it's-
Club.
Yes.
So it's super exclusive.
We don't talk about Fight Club.
But no, we make jokes about being a cult all the time.
Okay, no, I'm just wondering. Continue on, though.
All right, so I'm going to hit the low-hanging fruit off the bat with number 10. I say low-hanging fruit. This is probably not the one you guys first thought of, but by definition of secret society, they absolutely fit into this category. Number 10 is Anonymous. So founded in 2003 on the 4chan image board, founder Aubrey
Jesus.
Cottle started Anonymous as an amorphous collective of hackers and activists waging cyber war against oppression and corruption by targeting institutions. So their original intent, really, it's all about the lulz, the things that make them laugh. That's what it's all about in this group. But it is more focused in 2003 and 4 and few
So
years after that, it
Anonymous
started to become
actually
more focused.
first started on 4chan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what else started on 4chan?
What?
QAnon.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
That was the first
In
Q,
no way associated to Anonymous.
no.
but yeah.
The first Q drops were actually originally on 4chan when it existed. 4chan. I don't know if the 4chan even exists anymore.
It does.
4chan's still out there, yeah.
Oh, because I thought they changed it to 8chan.
No, there's a lot of them now.
Okay, gotcha.
16 and 32 chan.
I don't think
Is
that's
this like the
case.
bit?
No. Is this a bit? Are we supposed to be doing a bit?
Anonymous members are known as Anons. They're not just hackers, they're also activists, social voices, researchers, supporters, etc. It's not just the stereotype that everybody sees in the popular news and media about hackers or what Anonymous is all about. It's not what they're all about. The draw to the group is founded in liberation and is very likable to the younger generations. So older generations don't really seem to have as much of a draw, possibly because typically the younger generations of at least the citizens that we've experienced in our lifetimes are more liberal perspectives, and they take more stances like activists and, burning bras and stuff, I think, right? Isn't that what happens? Internal dissent is also a regular feature of the group. A website associated with the group describes it as an internet gathering with a very loose, decentralized command structure that operates on ideas rather than directives. And that's kind of an important theme behind Anonymous. Anonymous is more of a concept and not an organized group. There's no real hierarchical structure. Yes, there's a founder, and yes, there's some kind of
Do we
leaders
know
in
who the
environment.
founder is?
So yes, it's this guy named Aubrey Cottle. Now, that's according to the internet. So
Okay.
that if I don't know the
That could be
details
incorrect.
about
Okay.
him and how he actually founded it, or if there's some contention there between who originally founded the group of Anonymous or not. But the ideas he put forth on 4chan are kind of what led the way for Anonymous. 1 second.
They are legion.
So the group does suffer from dissolutions of intent. And when I say that, it's kind of hard to picture this. Not everybody is on the same page. Not everybody's agenda, socio-political or political or whatever, that not everybody's agendas are the same. On one hand, they'll hack and defame bigotry's businesses for morally aligned and tasteful protests, like they took down that West Baptist Ministry Church because of their hate against gays and military and just all this other stuff. And that's great. That's really something that the majority of the population can get behind, is them taking down some bigots. But on the other hand, parts of Anonymous are against the Recording Industry Association and the movie, what is the other one? What's the other?
Motion
RIAA.
Picture?
Oh, MPAA, Motion Picture Association. So they don't want the content that both of them protect to be protected. Well, there's legitimate reasons that's somebody's intellectual property, and that's their life's work. I mean, if you go and you make music your whole life and you want to sell your music to earn a living, well, some people in Anonymous will say, no, that's wrong. You should make everything for free and give it away to everybody. So you've got, on one hand, they are, warriors of, fighting against intolerance and bigotry and injustice and all this other stuff. But on the other hand, they're just goobers who just want to download free movies and free music. So it's a little bit of both, but that's because they're not centralized in their leadership style. And that's kind of the point behind Anonymous, though, is it is an open platform. It's whatever the society drives at the time is what they're going to be standing for.
I know I'm particularly fucking exhausted trying to keep up with all of the after shows Anonymous keeps leaking. I'm over it. All of our IP is just out there.
I see what you did.
It's just out there.
Oh, that's you, isn't it? You're leaking our after shows.
No. No.
That's the best segue I've ever heard.
What?
Why don't you plug that for us? Because I'm wrapping up number 10. Here, let me wrap up number 10, and you can plug us.
Our after shows are so great that Anonymous is hacking our system and leaking them out. That's how amazing they are. You guys should really become patrons.
It's getting chilly in here.
Anonymous's messages get kind of a wash when the lack of leadership to ensure foundational intent is not overstepped, but that isn't that kind of the point. It is in the essence the public is voicing their dislike for whatever topic is at hand. Meaning, if suddenly the internet, the group that acts as Anonymous gets together and says, fuck, privacy laws. We're going to get rid of we're going to hack our way through and protest against protection of privacy and HIPAA or whatever they happen to want to go against. Sometimes they're good in what they do, and sometimes they're not.
We'll
so
have
good at what they
to
do.
play it. Actually, we'll have to discuss playing it during the after show. They just recently announced a new target of a prominent public figure. So we'll figure it out if we want to say that here on the after
Is this
show.
public figure a fan of Dogecoin? Because I saw that one.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll just figure out if we want to get into that on the show or the after show.
Has Anonymous really done anything of significance?
So I had started to make the list to include examples of everything that they've done over the last 20 years, but that list grew too big. I mean, they have legitimately not just hacked, but I mean, they've broken their way into pretty high standing organizations and caused disruptions. Yes.
Well, when you say disruption, I mean, we know they've caused disruptions, but have they hacked any information and released it that was of any significance? I don't know that they really have. They always threaten to do so, and then when you dig into this stuff, it's just like BS. I don't even know if it's real. The Anonymous has released some stuff that I'm telling you right now, which is straight bullshit, which to me kind of, I don't know, denigrates their reputation.
Yeah, 100%
because
right.
they did it during the last election. Again, I don't want to get a politics, but they did it during the last election, and I was just like, I was looking for something good on what they said they were going to. I was like, what is this?
So here's the catch to that.
What is this crap? Then that's when I started thinking, I think Anonymous is just BS.
Here's the thing. Because Anonymous is, well, quite frankly, anonymous, it's hard to trace the leaks of the sources of the leaks, whatever you want to call it.
Roger that.
So what could have happened is it could have been a malicious actor from another country leaking and pretending to be anonymous, saying, here's some information that could damage my political opponent or whatever. So it's hard to really back that up. But
so maybe it
kind of
wasn't
their
even
structure.
really anonymous or something. I mean, who
it
knows?
may or may not have been. There's an official anonymous group that's out there that can endorse things that they've done. It almost sounds like a terrorist group taking claim for what they've done, but really that's kind of what they are. They wage cyber war against people who they deem...
They're cyber terrorists.
Yeah. So, hey, Josh, I completely blew over our plug, so give us our plugs for where our listeners can go.
We did. So we have mentioned the after show a couple of times now. The after show is a Twisted Council exclusive show. So we have a community behind the show called the Twisted Council. So hang out with us. They're part of the show. You guys are awesome. Thanks for the support and love. We appreciate that. But if you want to, see what that's about, see what the after show is all about, twisted10.com, right there in the center of the page will take you there. And big thanks to people in the live stream hanging out. Thanks for hanging out on Discord with us. We do live stream the show most weeks, Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Come back here. And let's see. Yeah, link to that, twisted10.com as well. Center of the page right next to the Twisted Council link. It'll take you right in. You can sign up, join us, come say hey. Check out the show.
Yeah, Discord is free too, so you don't have to pay anything to join the Discord server. It doesn't cost anything. We don't keep track of your privacy information. You can literally be in there as some random anonymous person, and
anonymous.
See what I did there?
And one last thing, you guys would be doing us a massive solid. Just go on your podcast listener and just drop an honest rating and an honest review.
Honesty means 5 stars.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
If we,
honestly, we mean 5 stars.
Honestly, we're begging you for 5 stars.
But no, that'd be great. If you're enjoying the show, those numbers help us show up higher in rankings. That help more people find the show. Helps us. It's a $0 thing, so we appreciate that.
And share the show if you've got, if you like what you hear, if you like the personalities of me and Josh, because we know nobody likes Ron.
And if you want a mouth hug from Adam.
Yeah, and if you want to... Wait, no. Wait a minute. That was what we used to say about Tack. Tack always gave out the mouth hugs.
I know.
Can he come back just to give mouth hugs out to our listeners?
Sure.
No, I'm just kidding.
Damn! All right.
Just playing.
Anyways,
totally
Tack,
lost
love you,
track
buddy. Love you, man.
thought.
We're just offering up mouth hugs.
All right, well, whatever. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I miss Tack. I miss my mouth hugs. All right, number 9. All right, so number 10 was anonymous. Number 9, this is the top 10 secret societies. This one, I didn't know about this one ahead of time. And what it's also referred to as, I've kind of heard, but never really understood or researched it enough. Number 9 is the Committee of 300. You guys ever heard of this?
No, I haven't heard of that one.
Not the Spartans. I knew where you're going. Ron, I saw your eyes. This is Spartan. Yeah, no. So the Committee of 300, also known as the Olympians, which kind of ties it. No, it doesn't. Is a conspiracy theory that claims, so some of these are real groups, some of these are groups that people believe are in existence that act as secret societies. Let me get through this and that'll make more sense. So the Committee of 300, also known as the Olympians, is a conspiracy theory that claims a powerful group was founded by the British aristocracy in 1727 and rules the world. Proponents of this theory...
Oh, it's like a cabal.
Kind of. Several of these are going to have cabal essences to them.
That's getting bigger and bigger again, the whole cabal stuff.
Is it, or is the conspiracy theories around cabals what's getting bigger and bigger? The earth is flat, those kind of people.
I don't know. The deep state stuff, all that.
Proponents of the theory allege the committee's existence, believe it to be an international council that organizes politics, commerce, banking, media, and the military for centralized global efforts. The group became a belief when Walther Rathenau made a statement to a German politician. Here's his statement. Now, this is translated from German. Das bin dort. No, I'm just kidding.
Ich will the Travenessen.
300 men, all of whom know one another, guide the economic destinies of the continent and seek their successors from their own milieu. Now, I don't know what milieu means.
Milieu.
Their family? It's
Milieu.
M-I-L-I-E-U.
Yeah, it's like a French word. I think I actually used it a couple days ago.
So a German
recently heard it.
A German was speaking in German that was translated into English, which uses a French
Maybe it's maybe it's also a German word. I don't know.
To say Jamaican
maybe
word.
It's an English word.
It's a milieu.
No, I tried to look it up as an English word. I've never been able to find it.
So here's how it ties into kind of more of a real group that does kind of exist. Arthur Sherop Spojvodovich wrote that the group, I did pretty good with that name. I'm pretty happy with that. Wrote that the group may also be known as the, quote, hidden hand, which is headed by the Rothschild family of international financiers and based loosely around many of the top national banking institutions and royal families of the world. This version of the conspiracy theory claims that the Rothschild family are merely a part of the club and not the leaders. The Rothschilds' hidden hand have association in its history to another number on this list as well, yet to be disclosed.
All right.
So Rothschilds have a ton of more conspiracy theorists that really back what they think this family does. There's no question that the Rothschilds are infinitely wealthy and tied to the banking industries worldwide. There's no question about that. But the concern and the conspiracy side of it comes up is that they have ties to all of these different groups around the world that can influence politics, influence price of gas, influence anything in the world.
Guess what?
That they
if
want
they're
to
vastly
influence.
wealthy, it's very possible that they do in someone like the Koch brothers. You know?
COCH.
Yeah, COCH, Coke, not COKE.
That's the lines, right? Not the bottle.
No, cocaine.
So I looked it up. The word milieu is an English word.
Oh, okay.
It just means a
burn.
person's social environment. No, I thought it was French too.
So they promote from their social circles.
Yeah.
Well, that's just the good old boy system. That's all that is. All right. I'm going to say that from now on. How did you get this job? Milieu.
Yes, I have quite a connected milieu. Don't worry about it.
Number 8. This one I know you guys know about, but I'd be willing to bet you don't know a lot about it. The Knights Templar.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Man,
Don't know anything
I
about it.
actually have a ton of useless facts about the Knights Templar.
Oh, cool. Fill me in on gaps that I might have missed for the highlights that I put in here.
Fill in
'Cause again-
Adam's gaps, Josh.
Got it.
Well, Josh
You got the
can-
camera?
Josh can do. You guys will both have to team up for that one.
I got my phone.
My gap's pretty big. All right.
And I got Facebook Live, baby.
No, we don't want to get banned.
It's been good recording with you guys.
Is that a
Shut it
baboon?
down.
What is that? All right. The Knights Templar was founded in 1118. Warriors dedicated to protecting Christian pilgrims to the Holy Land during the Crusades. Originally called does anybody know what their original name was? Because this is actually pretty interesting. The Poor Fellow Soldiers of Christ and the Temple of Solomon. That was their original name. And so they said, let's shorten that a little bit because a .com at the end of that's just way too fucking long.
Yeah, that was a good rebranding.
They didn't have to
effort
worry
by-
about .com back then.
No. They are headquartered and have been for a while in Jerusalem at Temple Mount. And as I kind of looked it up, I wanted to know what the hell Temple Mount was because I never knew Temple Mount was even a thing. But Temple Mount is a hill in the old city of Jerusalem. It has been venerated by Christianity as well as Islam. Venerated is just validated.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
As a holy location.
Good word.
Like a holy
Venerated.
spot. Rabbinical law. Let's see if Ron knows what that is.
No idea. What's that mean?
Jewish law. Rabbi.
Like rabbi,
instructed-
rabbinical.
law.
Rabbi Knackle.
Rab-
Rabbi
That's
Knackle
how
law.
that's how I would have said it.
They read it.
Rabbi Knackle.
The Rabbi Knackle law recognizes the site. It is where many Jews face during prayer. Now, I use the word Jews only because it was in the writing that I referenced from history.com.
Racist.
I don't know if that's actually appropriate or not. These days, I don't know.
It's both a religion and a bloodline, and you said it with respect.
I absolutely
Yeah,
did, but I don't
so
want
think it's fine. I think it's totally fine.
All right.
If they're offended, meh.
The society just deemed special needs as a bad word, by the way. I don't know if
Now
you've
what
heard
are we
that.
supposed to say?
Disabled.
Have we gone full circle yet?
Dead serious.
No, okay.
God.
Yeah, I tangented myself, Josh. That's what just
Full
happened.
circle to what, Josh?
I have to tangent myself often. So that's technically where Jewish folks face during their prayer. They're facing Temple Mount, the old city of Jerusalem. They will not walk on Jewish people. Will not walk on the mount.
They will not
itself.
walk on Jewish people. Well, that's very
Jews
good.
don't walk on Mount Temple as due to a belief that there is still some aspect of divine presence at that location, which is kind of
Okay.
cool. All right, back to the Knights Templar. Knights Templar were obviously known best for their military prowess. However, they also instituted a banking system that would allow pilgrims to deposit currency in their home countries and then withdraw it in the Holy Land, which is kind of cool if you think about it. Conceptually, back in the 12th century, you could deposit in one country and then travel thousands of miles and get that cash back out. You know, I don't know if it's like an envelope they gave them or was some kind of like stamp or some, who the hell knows? And weren't doing, online banking or anything. But it's kind of cool. They amassed enough power where they had a military that included a naval fleet. And keep in mind when this is. This is 12th, 13th, 14th century. So this is a fucking long time ago. So having a naval fleet is something that's unheard of back in these days. As well as owning the entire island of Cyprus. So the Knights Templar actually owned the entire island of Cyprus. They had enough money that they were the source of all loans worldwide to the kings. So if a king needed money, the Knights Templar is where those kings went at the time.
Damn it, I'm so pissed. What was it called in Game of Thrones? The Iron Bank.
Oh, the Iron Bank.
That was the Iron. They're the Iron Bank.
I mean, that's right there is a huge part of to say the Catholic Church has a huge business aspect definitely makes sense.
Of course.
After the Crusades around 1300, the Knights Templar withdrew to Paris and focused on their banking endeavors. So they're getting out of the war business. They're moving away from their Cyprus island.
What year was this again?
Around 1300.
Okay.
So it's after the Crusades ended. So it's like 1310 or 1312 or something like that. I don't know exactly the date. King Philip IV of France, ironically, was denied a loan from the Knights Templar, and this led to the conspiracy to defame the entire Knights Templar organization. Dozens of Knights Templar were captured and burned at the stake for alleged crimes. Today, how Knights Templar affect today. So the Catholic Church has acknowledged that the prosecution of the Knights Templar was unjustified. So it's taken them, 700 years to come around and say that, we kind of fucked that one up.
Try and tell me my FICO score's too low for a loan. I'll show you.
Burn your ass in the stake. While officially the Knights Templar ended around the 1300s, there's a lot of rumor and rhetoric that they are still in existence today. The theory is that they guard the Shroud of Turin, many other religious artifacts, including the Holy Grail, as well as parts of the original cross used to crucify Jesus. Many people believe that Knights Templar is still strong today, but remains underground and completely secret.
Or their Facebook group. You could see it there. I'm just kidding.
They do live streams of the Shroud of Turin every night.
And they have an Insta. But besides that, they're completely secret.
Now, what a lot of these groups have are different, and I didn't put anything for the Knights Templar, but they have different practices, different rituals, different types of things that they put their members and their higher representatives through to prove their loyalty to
like
the
initiation
initiation
stuff.
To get in, but more long-term type endeavors. The Knights Templar had some of those things too, but they're kind of boring. Some of the other ones that later in this list get pretty neat. So how did with your knowledge, your useless facts of Knights Templar?
You touched on a lot of them. Most people don't ever mention their banking history.
Yeah.
That's always the easy go-to. Another one, this is, there's the pirate flag that we all know, the skull and crossbones, the Jolly Roger. Did you know that was a Knights Templar naval battle flag?
Really?
100%.
Explain to me the Knights, or the Jolly Roger. What does it look like? I don't remember.
It's just it's the black field, big skull in the center with the crossing.
Skull and crossbone.
Skull and crossbone.
That's interesting. Because later in this list might have something to do with the skull. And
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
I won't give
but
it
it doesn't
away.
have anything to do with
Knights Templar.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
the Knights Templar that I saw had the cross, but more, in fact, did I write it? Maybe it's on a different.
There's a little bit more to that.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So the naval, that flag as we know it was a Templar flag, one of the many Templar flags, but when they were excommunicated by the Catholic Church and they started running, so they weren't burned at the stake, we started seeing Mediterranean piracy pick up at historic levels never seen before, with all of these trained seafaring men who were great at ocean combat, who just suddenly came out of nowhere and just took over. And that is where the romantic piracy began in the Mediterranean. It was right around the time. All of these trained naval warfare units and their ships bailed.
Huh.
Yo ho, the pirate's life for me.
By the way, since I've put it out there now for a couple of weeks, nobody from our groups have joined me on Sea of Thieves. I've been playing that, and I'm just getting my ass kicked all over that fucking map because I'm just a single solo pirate out there trying to get my booty.
Go hit
matey.
Go hit Reddit for the Sea of Thieves, and I would absolutely bet money that somebody on there somewhere is a link to a community Discord.
So some other fat dad somewhere that's sitting around going, I wish I had a pirate buddy. Because that's what I'm doing.
A butt pirate buddy.
Yeah, I mean, isn't that what you're looking for, right?
Butt pirate?
Yeah.
You know, if it comes up. Number 7. Number 7 is the Freemasons. Yeah, we have a storm brewing outside.
Yes, it's a brewing.
We might lose our power here.
We don't need power.
All right, so number 7, for those of you in Discord hanging out, if we suddenly drop, well, house got struck by lightning. All right, so number 7 is the Freemasons. This one's a bit of a long one, so I'm just going to touch on some of the more important stuff. This is one of the core reasons that I wanted to do this, is this Freemason group.
It's the one I always think about when somebody says secret society.
Freemasons.
My brain goes to that one first, actually.
Founded. The first reference to the Freemasons was in 1390 in the Regius poem, also known as the Halliwell manuscript. That's 64 vellum pages of Middle English written in rhyming couplets. No, I'm not going to repeat any.
Come on, do it.
I didn't download any of those. The document relates how the craft of masonry was brought to England during the reign of King Athelstan, 924 to 939. So technically, according to that, it's even further back than the 1390 reference. So this could have been around, Freemasonry could have been around for 1200 years. The Freemasonry as we know it now was founded in 1717 when 4 major masonry lodges joined forces and became the first Grand Lodge. The Freemasons can trace their routes to the Middle Ages in Europe, a time when most craftsmen were organized into local guilds. Cathedral builders, by nature of their profession, had to travel from city to city. They identified one another via signs of their trade, like the builder's square and compass in Freemasonry's now iconic symbol. What are you laughing at?
It sounds like this house is getting ready to
storm,
come down, dude. That is
one.
quite a storm going on out there.
Yeah, it's a hell of a thing. It's okay. We only flood in the basement like every other storm, so you should
perfect.
be okay. Freemasonry is not a religion, though members are encouraged to believe in a supreme being or a grand architect of the universe. It's not a requirement, at least now it's not a requirement, but it is like preferred, I guess. They want you to believe in a deity. It could be any deity. You could believe in the giant flying spaghetti monster if you wanted to, but it's got to be a deity.
It can be God.
Single deity.
It can be
it's important.
Yeah. It can be Allah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I can believe in Zeus, but I'm not allowed to believe in
Aphrodite.
Right. Yeah.
Masonic temples and secret rituals have brought them into conflict with the Catholic Church. The Church first condemned the Freemasons in 1738 and has gone on to issue around 20 decrees against them. In 1985, Roman Catholic bishops restated over the 200 years worth of these strictures in the face and an increased number of Catholics joining in the order. Basically, they were villainizing Freemasonry because because Freemasonry has grown so powerful in the past, the Catholic Church gets intimidated with it. So what do you do when you've got somebody who's growing in power? You make them look bad. The church wasn't their only enemy. The secrecy of the Masons generated such distrust in early America that it inspired America's first third party. Do you know what the third party name was?
The Whigs?
The Anti-Masonic Party.
Oh.
It's straightforward. We're anti-Masons.
Anti-Masonic.
Anti-Masonic Party.
This was in the U.S.?
Yeah. Early America. Yeah. So
like before 1776, or prior
1800.
to?
Yeah, somewhere in there. I don't have a date on it. Today, Freemasons exist today, and their public image has been greatly influenced by the high-profile charity work of the Shriners, which is a subset of Freemasons, also known as the ancient Arabic order nobles of the mystic shrine. These are those dudes in the fairs and the parades that drive around those little cars with those cool, goofy hats. Yeah. But they're very charitable. Give them props where they deserve it. They're benevolent. Ooh, that's a tough word to get through.
That's a good one.
Membership is open to all males. So ladies, you're out over the age of 21. Women can join an associated group known as the Order of the Eastern Sandwich Makers. No, the Order of the Eastern the Order of the Eastern Star. That's the females group that they can join. But you cannot be a female and be a Mason, which is quite interesting. So noteworthy members, these are some people who are Masons. Not to mention 13 to 39 of the people who signed the U.S. Constitution.
George Washington?
Yeah, George Washington is part of them. Mozart, Winston Churchill, Davy Crockett, Franklin Roosevelt, John Wayne, George Washington, James Monroe, Benjamin Franklin, John Hancock, Paul Revere. So 13 of the 39 men who signed the U.S. Constitution were also Freemasons. We know, I know Josh and I know a Freemason that's actually pretty high. I don't really know him. not like,
yeah, baby.
not that kind of high, but he's pretty high because they have different hierarchical levels. The more you volunteer, the more you do stuff, the more information you're given about Freemasonry.
It's like Scientology.
Scientology might be on this list too, Ron.
Really?
How could I do a list about top 10 secret societies and not include Scientology? Come on.
All right, when we get to it, I'll explain why. But go ahead.
All right. Joey, if you remember, I won't say his last name, but Joey was a Freemason and pretty high
I knew
up there.
Joey Buttafuoco
from that department of the government we worked for. Oh yeah,
no kidding.
Actually, one guy got in trouble because he said more than he was supposed to. He told me too much, and I guess he got in trouble for it.
He got in trouble with the
Or he lied to me about getting in trouble. Either way, I'll tell you who he was later.
With the Freemasons?
Okay. Yep, with his lodge.
They took his compass.
His lodge, his Freemason Moose Lodge.
Moose Knuckle. The Eye of Providence. You guys know what the Eye of Providence is?
I do not.
To Freemasons. All right. It's their symbol. If you think of Freemasons, not just the compass but the cross. It's the cross that they use. The view of the all-seeing eye as a Masonic symbol. Oh, I apologize. The Eye of Providence. Think of a $1 bill. The eye on top of the pyramid, not the cross. The cross goes back to the Knights Templar, the red cross that has like fat tops, bottoms, and it's more of an...
So we have a Freemason symbol on our $1 bill?
I'll explain it, yeah.
All right, that's exciting.
The view of the all-seeing eye as a Masonic symbol has been sharply debated. Long before the Freemasons, Egyptians used the Eye of Horus, and the all-seeing eye appears repeatedly in Renaissance art as a symbol of Christianity and God's watchfulness. But organizations like the Philadelphia Federal Reserve claim Freemasons, Henry Wallace and Franklin D. Roosevelt, purposefully chose it when they designed the dollar bill in 1934. So Freemasonry influenced our currency still to today, as we have that all-seeing eye represented on there, the Eye of Providence.
Freemasonry's had influence in our government for like a couple hundred years.
Since its inception.
Like since its inception.
Yeah,
and
100% since its
almost
inception.
Still, I don't know how much influence they have now. Probably not much.
But here's the thing. I mean, I know there's conspiracies around the Freemasons, but what would their intent be? What is the Freemasons? I mean, they're founded in builders and craftsmen. That's their foundation, and not just structural, but also sociopolitical and economic. They're builders in those types of realms.
They're the original deep state.
Wouldn't you want somebody that has experience in that kind of stuff running the show, though? I mean, wouldn't you want that? Or because I have a hard time understanding how Freemasons are bad. I've never really read anything about them that's bad.
You know what? As long as whoever's running our government, as long as all of your intentions, your thought process, your true ideals is out in front and center for everybody to see. I don't care what it's influenced from. At least I'm there to see it. But it's when you portray that your ideals are ABC, but really you're doing everything behind the guile of this secret society of EFG. That's where people get
alternative agendas.
Yeah, that's where people get squirmy, and that's been. We're all secret societies, and whenever they intersect with government, that's where everybody gets freaky. And we've heard this term deep state. Well, people were talking about deep state 50 years ago in 1971 with the whole Pentagon Papers released. I think that anniversary just happened a day or two ago. I mean, people were saying there was a deep state back then, and that all these people had this secret agenda and blah blah blah. And it all comes from this thought process that our government leaders have their own little society where they're discussing, well, here's what we really want to do, but we're going to tell you we want to do this. And that's been an issue with our government, and a lot of it's just based off people who are just fear, exactly, and ignorance. But sometimes you wonder if some of it just is a little bit is based in fact, and it's why people have this thought process.
That's why conspiracy theories are so fascinating to a lot of people,
because a lot of them are based in some fact. Yes.
Occasionally they're right.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, if you don't want people to think it's weird, don't have a ritual where you go out in the woods and burn a giant wooden owl.
That's a good idea.
Did Freemasons do that?
No, that's an old rich people / governmental retreat. They'd go out.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Damn, I would have loved to read where that came from. All right, so according to George Washington Masonic National Memorial, the all-seeing eye is a Masonic symbol of the watchful care of the supreme architect. So that's kind of an interesting way to tie Freemasonry into their deity-style belief. So some of the conspiracies around the Freemasons, and they're weak, so forgive this, but they are kind of weak. Freemasonry, this is one of them. Freemasonry is a religion that worships Gaotu.
Worships gout?
Kind of. Gaotu. That is the great architect of the universe. Otherwise known as God, but
you mean
whatever.
The goat?
Kind of.
Greatest of all time?
Kind of, yeah.
Architect?
Another conspiracy is that Freemasonry is a Jewish front for world domination.
Of course, somebody would throw that in there.
Yeah. Another one is that Freemasons and the next group control many major aspects of society and government and are working to establish a, quote, new world order.
I bet I know what the next one is.
Deep State? I'm just kidding. I'm just going to keep saying that every time. Sorry.
The Deep State's not part of any of this.
No. Well, the Deep State doesn't have its
it's not
own,
formal.
Deep State kind of touches on all of this.
Lower
in a
D,
way.
lower S. Yeah,
yes,
they're not
exactly.
formalized.
Yeah, exactly.
So that takes us to number 6, which I kind of referenced right there. Do you know what it is, Josh?
My guess is the Illuminati.
Bingo fucking lollipop. Yes,
Boom,
the
boom.
Illuminati.
Wait, you got a lollipop? Hang on.
We could have lollipops upstairs. I have 2 little girls in this house. Of course I got lollipops.
Adam has a lollipop. You can lick it right here. Josh, I have the camera and Facebook Live. I was if I had mentioned that before.
All right, so Illuminati.
California.
All right, so they were founded. The Illuminati were founded by Professor Adam Weishaupt. Weishaupt? It's Bavarian. In Bavaria on May 1st, 1776. Weishaupt, chaffing the power of the conservative Catholic Church.
Chafing. I was kidding. Chafing the power.
Chafing the power. Whatever. Copy and
No,
paste.
I was joking.
It is chaffing, I believe.
Yeah, it is. I was just messing with you. Chafing's a different thing.
Yeah, chafing is like your balls are a little, dry.
Chafing is what us fat guys get every time we fucking walk from our car to the house.
I thought that was burgers. All right. Chaffing the power of the conservative Catholic Church and the Bavarian monarchy sought to cast aside organized religion in favor of the new form of, quote, illumination, unquote, through reason. The society's goals were to oppose, and this is kind of, so listen to the goal. So this is when it was implemented, when Illuminati and illumination were originally created. The society's goals were to oppose superstition, obscurantism, religious influence over public life, and abuses of state power. It's all about logic. It's all about ignoring the things that are unprovable and only focusing on the things that are provable. That, in its essence of a goal, is pretty well written and pretty attractive to a younger generation, more liberal thinker, somebody who's not set in their ways of old-time religion.
And about as far away as we could be right now.
Well, got
the way
it,
things are.
So that's how it started. Inspired by the spread of enlightenment across Europe, ideas expressed by the Jesuits, the mysteries of the 7 sages of Memphis, the Kabbalah, and Freemasons, this guy recruited, where's the name? I jumped over his name. Oh, Adam, sorry. Adam Weishaupt, whatever it is. He recruited heavily from Freemasons. No, I must have copied and pasted here wrong because I'm missing a name. Give me a second. My bad.
Just make up a name.
It's Albert. So this is it's Knigge. It's Kniggee. But I copied and pasted, and my paste is gone. So I don't know where my Knigge went to.
You're Hickey from Kinnicky?
I did that shit last week. With
Damn it! I
lost a whole number.
Well, it's because when I made the list, Illuminati was like one of my first ones, and I'm like, I can't have this as like number 10 because it's too good. I need to drop it down to a different location. I copied and pasted it and moved it around. So give me just a second. Let me find it.
Well, if
Adam,
you're interested,
talk amongst yourselves.
I'll give you a topic.
We have a little bit of merchandise on the website
that you can't buy right now.
That you can.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Why would I bring it up if you can't?
I was wondering because I thought just like yesterday you couldn't. Sorry.
So twisted10.com. Go to the merch stop. We got hats. We got fishing hats like bucket hats. We got baseball cap like snapback. A couple shirts, V-necks, regular crew necks, a duffel bag. Did you get your duffel bag ordered, Adam?
No, I went on to the subordinate site to try to get it ordered and couldn't figure it out. So I said, fuck it, I'll just wait till Josh fixes it.
All right, cool.
And I got a man purse. Andrea got me a man purse for traveling here. So
Nice.
A merce.
it's actually, I'll show it to you when we go upstairs. It's actually pretty nice. It's a nice, like it goes over your head and shoulder.
Adam,
it's leather.
focus on your list.
It's,
Josh,
I got it. I'm
stop
good.
asking him questions. He's
No,
supposed
he
to
was
focus on
filling
his list.
information while I was trying to find Carnegie over here.
I'm just messing. Go ahead, Josh. Continue on.
No, I'm good. Adam's ready.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, kind of. I'll fill it in as best I could. So a lot of the recruitment for the Illuminati came from Freemasonry, came from the lodges that had already been very, very well established. Part of the reason behind that is because the Illuminati was very quickly shunned by officials and by governments and turned into a punishable by death offense just for being a member of the Illuminati. So kind of jumping around a little bit, the Illuminati thrived for 12 years but were vilified in 1787 by Karl Theodor with a punishable sentence of death for any member, just for being a member.
Who was Karl Theodor?
France's Bavarian, some Bavarian king or Bavarian leader. I don't remember exactly what his role was. So about that time steps in this guy named Adolf Freiherr Carnegie. So kind of like Adolf Hitler, just saying earlier. Carnegie was Bavarian army captain in his early 20s and was recruited to join the Freemasons. He was already an Illuminati, by the way. Freemasons, similar to many secret societies and the Illuminati, had segregated ranks to strive towards. So basically, you wanted to become higher up. The higher up you got, the more information you got about that secret society, and the more prestige, really. Because let's face it, there's not really a whole lot. I mean, who knows? We aren't members of these groups. Maybe there are some super secret cool shit that we just don't know that they got. But the idea was really for prestige at the time. With each rank came new informations and secrets of the organization. Carnegie was frustrated at his inability to make it to the highest ranks within Freemasonry as quickly as he would like to have. Because of the prosecution of the Illuminati, members decided to join the Freemasons. So they set up this little plan. They said, okay, well, us as Illuminati can't meet in groups, otherwise we're going to get put to death. So where else can we all meet in a secret society of sorts and hash our plans of world domination or whatever the fuck they wanted to do at the time? Who knows what it is?
Excellent.
These guys called the Freemasons are pretty cool. They wear nice hats and they drive around little miniature cars. Let's go hang out with them. So that's kind of what they did. Because of the prosecution of the Illuminati, members decided to... Oh, I read that already. They could carry on their objectives without the spotlight being placed on them. So they're acting as Freemasons at this point, not as Illuminati. Carnegie's intent was to control as many Freemason lodges as possible with seeding Illuminati members throughout. He later authored an official association between both organizations. And that was a kind of interesting read. Boring, really, to recap all of it, but he put forward a proclamation to tie Illuminati, now ousted Illuminati, to Freemasonry, and it failed. The initial one failed. Then he went back to the drawing board and drew some different scripture, and it came back as an approved. So the Illuminati then kind of shined again in a positive light because of its association to the Freemasonry.
You like secret societies? How about you join Secret Society Plus?
Yeah, definitely. See, this is like a secret society within a secret society. While recruitment for Illuminati through Freemasons was slow, it definitely was successful. The initial goal of the founding of the Illuminati was overwhelmed by political agenda and social etiquette. As the secret group grew in popularity, it also became more recognized by the public as malicious. And I'm referring to the Illuminati, not the Freemasons. Officially, when documents were seized in 1787, high-ranking political members throughout Europe were ousted as being a member of the Illuminati, and this eventually led to its downfall. So the Illuminati, really as popularized as it is today, only actually lasted about 20 years. Officially lasted about 20 years. So today, we'll jump into today and we'll go to conspiracies on it real quick. Several recent and present-day fraternal organizations claim to be descended from the original Bavarian Illuminati and openly use the name Illuminati. Some of these groups use a variation of the name, like the Illuminati Order, in the name of their own organizations, while others, such as the Ordo Templi Orientis, have Illuminati as a level within their organization's hierarchy. However, there is no evidence that any of these present-day groups have any real connection to the historic order.
How could they at this point? I mean, how could you prove it if you did?
Most of the information was seized from the original Illuminati, and destroyed. So
any of these Illuminati groups in the U.S. or based in the U.S.?
Yeah, dude. Didn't you see National Treasure?
none of those were, but
okay.
Yeah, I'm sure there's Illuminati chapters in the U.S. Yes, I didn't pull all that information. They have not amassed significant political power or influence, and most, rather than trying to remain secret, promote unsubstantiated links to the Bavarian Illuminati. So basically, the official Illuminati now are just all claiming for power to say, nope, we're the original Illuminati. Nope, we're the original Bavarian Illuminati. It's just ties back to the original Illuminati inception. So the conspiracy side of the Illuminati is what's more fascinating. Here's just a couple of the conspiracies. So the conspiracies behind the Illuminati, they were accused of orchestrating the entire French Revolution. The U.S. used Illuminati propaganda. So this kind of is conspiracy founded in truth or truth founded in conspiracy. You pick it how you want to. The U.S. used Illuminati propaganda to fuel anti-communist rhetoric during World War II. So there's actual information that is available today that ties the U.S. spreading Illuminati anti-communist rhetoric.
And that continued way past World War II as well. People were just using it to try and slay their political enemies, calling them, or people they didn't like in Hollywood or whatever, trying to ruin their careers, ruin their political careers just by calling them communists, having quote unquote, official like tribunal type stuff in front of Congress. That was happening for 20 years, probably leading up all the way up. Probably didn't really stop until we got into Vietnam. A lot of it happening during the Cold War. That was huge, calling people in the 50s and early 60s, calling people communists, and that was just the way it was.
Just got a new villain, that's all.
Did you?
Yep, we always have some kind of villain.
Have you guys ever heard any of the ties to Illuminati and aliens? Have you ever heard that association before?
Like
Aliens
the movie?
No, not the movie. That's fucking fascinating. I never thought about that. No, just in general, like aliens from outside the planet.
I have not.
So the Illuminati has some ties.
Aliens from outside the planet. I was about to be a smartass, but I was like, oh wait, there are aliens inside the planet. You're right.
So this is very interesting. So I don't have the exact year, but Playboy editors published an 800-page work of fiction that included Martian invaders. As opposed to the satire that it was, and it tied to the Illuminati, as opposed to the satire that it was, people being the general public, started quoting the book in common culture as if it was a real expose. And it is still used and quoted today in news articles and different press around the world. But it was a complete satire work of fiction that Playboy, of all places, published. 800 pages worth.
The general population, right? Air quotes in studio.
not just Adam search engine.
People who read Playboy.
Yeah. Who read Playboy? Another one is the Illuminati were responsible for JFK assassination and orchestrated the whole thing. So there's 1,000 more conspiracies about the Illuminati, like Jay-Z and Beyonce and the whole...
Are you serious?
You've never heard that?
No.
There's an entire conspiracy behind the power couple that is Jay-Z and Beyonce Knowles for being multiple things, but one of them is Illuminati. They think that they're high ups in the Illuminati culture, and
that's dumb.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, those two are business geniuses.
Oh, yeah, they are.
They're brilliant people. All right, but that's it. That's 10 through 6. And you probably know a couple of them because we've already teased them for the next half of the list, but it only gets a little bit weirder, especially to number 1. So you're gonna love number 1. Nice.
You won't believe what number 1 is coming up after the break.
I like it. That's what we're gonna roll with. All right. Thank you for listening. We will be back after the break. This is Lately, by the way.
Casey Kasem. You're listening to...
That's a good reference. All right, we'll be right back. Oh, this is Truphonic Lately.
I gotta split quick somehow, because you got me in deep, too deep right now. Soon I'm feeling restless, when most of our time is spent around my mattress. selling me out your essence, baby. Lady, well, I'm crazy, 'cause I just can't give you everything. Now I bet you wonder why I'd ever be hesitant, but I spent my whole life looking for a quick fix. Hey, no, I can hear a mess. It's like I'm going deaf, and you can hear me singing. If my thoughts all strapped, baby, tell me what's left. And now I can't believe this how it's gotta be. Oh, you make me feel away, but I still gotta leave. I gotta be free. Yeah. You've been selling me all your essence, baby. Lately, well, I'm crazy, 'cause I just can't give you everything. Maybe I'm going deaf, so you can hear me singing. If my thoughts all strapped, baby, tell me what's left. Lady, oh, you've been selling me out your essence, baby. Lately, well, I'm crazy, 'cause I just can't give you everything. Lady, oh, you've been selling me out your essence, baby. Lady, well, I'm crazy, 'cause I just can't give you everything.
Welcome back to the Twisted 10. So yeah, tonight is the top 10 secret societies, and this is according to Adam. There's no real ranking other than their coolness.
Is there a twist?
Not really.
Twist.
I mean, I was trying to figure out a way I could make one up, like, because there's a couple in here. And
Yeah,
I think there's
make
still
up
one
a
more that
secret
you guys,
society.
yeah, you guys might not recognize. But then it's way harder to make something like that up than you think. Because I started making up some secret ones, but
I
couldn't really.
straight up made up a way that life started on Earth. Your ass can't make up a secret society?
Yeah, my ass could, but
That's true. I made up
didn't want to.
a secret civilization that vanished. That was my last big
And
made up one.
and
And
our
I
number
made
2
up,
most
like,
downloaded episode.
40
I made up
episodes ago.
an uncommon Marvel hero that Tack did.
that was
remember?
that was a good one.
Yeah,
remember
that was
that.
awesome.
Do you remember that? All right, so I'm going to recap 10 through 6 for you guys. Number 10 was Anonymous. Number 9 was the Committee of 300, also known as the Hidden Hand. Number 8 was...
Oh, sorry.
You jerking off over there? What's going on?
That's his hidden hand.
That's the
coming
hidden
out.
hand, yes.
Number 8 was the Knights Templar. Number 7 was the Freemasons. And wrapping it up, number 6 was the Illuminati. And yeah, there are lots and lots and lots of additional conspiracy theories that support each one of these secret organizations. I'd just touch on a couple of them. I'm not going to hit them all. Number 5. So this is number 5 is the one, Ron, where I think you were alluding to earlier. And Josh, I think you know this one. This is based out of Yale University. So you guys have a guess at what the name of it is?
I know what it's called.
What?
Skull and Bone Society.
Absolutely right. Yeah, the Skull and Bones.
It's actually, I was wrong. I was thinking, I said at Harvard. I was wrong.
Yeah.
It's Yale.
I kind of figured.
We were talking the same one.
Because the other Ivy Leagues have groups like this,
And
but none of them.
absolutely, like recent current presidents have been outwardly members. Like
Obama was a skull and
absolutely
skull and bones, right?
Yes, he was.
I actually didn't write Obama down.
He
I wrote
actually was. Yes,
3 presidents, Taft and both Bushes, as well
Yeah.
as John Kerry.
and
He was
the Obama.
I did not know that. Huh, that's interesting. I wonder when Obama went to school there, because there's in this. Well, let's get into it. I'll actually cover
I'll
it.
look it up while you do that.
The admission of African Americans in some of these societies is something that was,
it's probably pretty
prestigious. Yeah, actually, for Skull and let's just go through it because I think I do cover it in here. I might not. I might have skipped over and didn't include that, but let's read through it. So Yale University in New Haven, Connecticut, in 1832 is when the Skull and Bones was officially founded. William Huntington Russell. That sounds like a fucking prestigious Ivy League guy.
It does.
My name is William Huntington Russell
It definitely sounds like a white guy.
You're 100% right about that. So he was inspired by an occult society he had visited in Germany. And ironically, I didn't really put a lot of the Illuminati details in here for where it was founded and stuff like that, but it could have been the Illuminati because of the location. Yeah, maybe. So anyway, they didn't go into which occult society he had visited. So he was inspired by that and started Skull and Bones. Each year, 15. So this is how exclusive of a group this is. So Yale has thousands and thousands of students, but each year only 15 seniors at Yale are recruited to join this super secret society. They are taken into the Tomb, which is a windowless meeting space. The Tomb fucking fascinated me, so I wanted to pull up more information on it. It was built in 1856. It resembles an Egyptian-themed large tomb with large foreboding doors. It's actually really, really cool. So if you ever want to see, if you ever in your mind have pictured like a secret cult kind of underground-looking society where it's just torches on the wall and shit, well, that's what this is. That's exactly what this fucking thing is. All members must take an oath of secrecy for dealings of the group. Graduated members are referred to as patriarchs. Those undergoing initiation are referred to as knights, and this was my favorite. Everyone else, meaning everybody else in the world that isn't either a graduated member of this group or a current enrollee, they're all called barbarians. So you, me, Ron, everybody else in the world are called barbarians.
We're muggles.
Nice. +1 to con. That's nice.
The branding or symbolism for the Skull and Bones is pretty straightforward. So this is where earlier when you brought up the flag,
the Jolly Roger.
Yeah, the Jolly Roger. That's where this kind of came from. So when you were describing the Jolly Roger, and I can see it in my head too, the traditional pirate flag. That's basically what Skull and Bones branding and symbol is. It is a single skull with 2 crossed bones underneath, and just between the 2 crossed bones is a number, and the number is 322. That's part of their branding or their symbolism. The mystery of 322 is still officially unknown, so Skull and Bones has never released what the 322 actually stands for, but it may have to do with one of a couple of different great deaths in our history. Could be Alexander the Great, who died in 322 BC, or the year of the Greek orator, bear with me for this one, Demosthenes. His death. He was an orator. I highly doubt it was him. It was probably Alexander the Great. But who the hell knows? It might have not anything to do with either one of those 2 guys in the years that they died. Members, so 4 presidents apparently. I didn't know Obama was part of that. Both Taft and both Bushes, as well as John Kerry.
We were wrong.
We were?
Obama not only wasn't part of Skull and Bones, he didn't even go to Yale. He went to Harvard. So I was right that he went to Harvard, but Skull and Bones is not at Harvard.
He was a secret society member at Harvard then.
I can't find what that is though. I tried hard to figure out what secret society was he in at Harvard, but I couldn't even find it.
What is that
Mandela.
term? Mandela effect, yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Definitely.
Mandela
But
there.
John Kerry was a member of Skull and Bones.
Yeah, I put that in there too.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Well, you were in your phone. You don't.
I was in my phone trying to find out this Obama shit. That's all right, my bad.
Other members are the U.S. senators have been members of this. Presidents of the New York Central Railroad, former Pan Am owner. Remember the old? I always think of Pan Am. Whenever I hear Pan Am,
is think of Hunger Games.
No.
Oh.
No.
Okay.
A little older than that. Little older.
I don't know.
I think of National Lampoon's Vacation, when the girl's trying to get tickets to go back and see her boyfriend, which was Johnny from fucking Street Fighter. Or no, not Street Fighter, Karate Kid. She's trying to talk to the Pan Am person on the phone, but she's in another location. Ammo.
Is this European Vacation or something?
Maybe it is European Vacation. Yeah, because that's when she wanted to fly back.
That one's really horrible. I
That's
tried
one
to
of the
block
best
that
ones ever.
What?
National Lampoon's European Vacation is great.
Okay,
Big man, Parliament.
This is our one
Fight.
tangent. We can't get out of it. Yeah, European Vacation, absolutely complete dog shit of that franchise.
Are you insane?
I'm not insane. I promise you, dude.
That is one of the best out of that
absolutely
franchise.
not. I'd rather watch Vegas Vacation as the only movie I could watch for the rest of my life than see European Vacation one more time as long as I live. Such a piece of shit movie. It's total shit, dude. That movie's horrible.
Fucking end of the show. We're done.
It had
We're
one-
packing it up. We're going
It
home.
had two funny scenes where they fucking hit Eric Idle on the bicycle when he pointed out he squirted out blood. That was hilarious. And when they got stuck in the circle,
Yeah,
he
the
looks
Big Ben parlay.
Look, kids, Big Ben. Yeah, that's it. The rest of it was so horrible, dude. I promise you, if you ask most people, they'll agree. That movie's
I had
not
never
good.
even heard of National Lampoon's European Vacation before this.
Are you serious?
You have heard of Vacation,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
And you've heard of Christmas Vacation, obviously. And you've
Which
heard
that's
of,
a classic too.
have you heard of Vegas Vacation?
No.
That's more
Okay,
recent. That's got
a
that
little
one
bit more
actor
recent.
dude.
That one actor, dude, Chevy Chase.
The young guy. No, not Chevy Chase. The young guy. He's shit. I forgot his name.
And then there was
fine.
the new Vacation with Ed Parnell. What the hell's his name?
I don't know. You wouldn't answer my question on who the actor's name was, so I'm not going to help you out,
didn't
buddy.
know. But anyway, that one was good. No, European Vacation sucked. But continue on with your list. Sorry about the tangent.
All right. Other members of the Skull and Bones, former, Supreme Court justices, the mother of the CIA, quote, mother of CIA, James Angleton. Yeah, I don't
The
get it
mother of the CIA is a dude.
Is a dude. Yeah.
Okay.
Go figure. CIA. Who knows? The U.S. Secretary of War, Henry Stimson, back when we had a Secretary of War.
Defense Secretary now.
Yeah, U.S. Secretary of Defense Robert Lovett, governors, publishing company CEOs, the list goes on. So, if anything, we've been able to determine is that Skull and Bones only recruit people who, at some point in their lives, become very, very
Prestigious.
Yeah, prestigious, high-ranking chiefs of organization, chiefs of industry, politicians.
Well, they get their
that kind of people.
pick of the litter at Yale, you know.
That's a
it
good
seems
point.
like a good place to start.
They also own the Skull and Bones organization. Also own an island called Deer Island in New York. It's a 40-acre island used as retreats for Skull and Bones members. So while Skull and Bones may be about the weakest on the conspiracies out of this whole list, they do have a couple. About the only thing that's really notorious for the Skull and Bones is that they would steal rival colleges' sentimental items as like pranks. I mean, they would keep them, but it was like prank wars against colleges.
That's pretty awesome.
But they are also known to have disrupted grave sites of some pretty famous figures of the past. Like they've gone through and stolen skulls from like old celebrities' grave sites and stuff. So that's rumor. There's no like charges pressed or anything like that against the members, but that's about as deep as they get in the conspiracy side of things.
Say for a secret society, pretty mild.
Yeah, pretty mild for sure. But they have so much prestige that they definitely made the list.
So there was something you mentioned in there talking about going into the tomb, you called it?
Yeah, the tomb. That's what they call it.
There's something I had a thought earlier, and it is related to this when you were talking about the Freemasons as well. It's on my list of places to go. In New York City, the Freemason Lodge, you can take tours of it. And the Masons, being as old as they are, they represent different types of masonry work through history. So you can go into one room and it's like Egyptian. You can go into another room, it's a different culture. And
That's like Bell Guinness from your list, isn't it? Bell Guinness that had that house.
Oh, yeah.
Murder house or
yeah.
murder mansion or whatever it was.
The murder mansion. Yeah, so it's just a place I want to go because they do a lot of historically themed places, and you can go into a Freemason lodge, which one just sounds awesome.
We kind of talked about this while you were upstairs getting a soda. It'd be kind of fun to join the Freemasons. But Josh and I are like, well, just be kind of a place to go hang out with the boys. It'd be like a organized poker game.
I honestly have some friends that like our age that are seriously, they went to a Moose Lodge with somebody and they said it was like so cool, and they're like ready to join the Moose Lodge. It's cheap as shit. It's fun. You hang out, you play cards, you have some drinks. Yeah, I mean that's it. I mean that's all it is now. It's not. We're not like shaping government policy. If we go join it now, we're just hanging out, having some drinks, and playing some fucking cards.
God, if we
and
are
calling
shaking,
ourselves Freemasons because it's cool to call ourselves that.
a member of the Freemason. Why don't we get you a Freemason Society podcast? Hello, today we talk about door frames.
Redacted.
Good point. Number 4. Now, I had heard the name of this group before, but I had no clue what the fuck this group was. But it's pretty interesting. Number 4 is the Bilderberg Group.
Oh no, I have no idea.
You don't know what it is either?
I've never heard of it.
That's pretty good though.
That was good. I don't know.
Being political minded, I figured you of all people would know the Bilderberg Group. Only
I am not
because-
politically minded anymore.
I get it, but you're
I am politically
past
disminded.
Shut up.
Why are you throwing shit at me?
I don't know. It
you deserved it.
felt good at the time.
What is it?
The first Bilderberg meeting was in 1954 and held at the Hotel de Bilderberg in the Netherlands, from which the organization gets its name.
Is this where Build-A-Bear came from?
Kind of, but instead it's a berg. Convened by Prince Bernard of the Netherlands, it was a gathering of powerful politicians from North America and Europe designed to foster warmer relations between the two continents among fears of growing anti-Americanism.
So it's like
in
a
Europe.
G8 summit or some
Kind
sort.
of. Yeah, it's just different though, and here's why. They use something that I think we may want to establish later. Well, I'll get there in a minute. Where was I? Gathering of politicians, anti-sentiment. Okay, so they use something called the Chatham House Rule. Has anybody ever heard of this before? Do you know what this is? The Chatham House Rule. It has to do with when you're in meetings or when you're in gatherings.
Man, it's like ringing a bell. Like I don't know what it means. I just like you
a
said
bell
it,
might
and I
be
was
involved.
like,
A bell might be involved in it. Here, I'll read it to you. See if it rings a bell with you, Josh. So the Chatham House Rule is something that they adopted and use, and it's not like exclusive to only this group. Anybody can do this. In fact, we could do it in our meetings as well. We could establish this rule, and then there's an understanding of what's supposed to occur from there. When a meeting or part of a meeting is held under the Chatham House Rules, participants are free to use the information received, but neither the identity nor the affiliation of the speakers, nor that of any of the participants, may ever be revealed. So basically it means you can talk about everything, you can use quotes from these prestigious political figures, but you can never say who said it or what country said it or its origination, but you can use the content that comes out of the meeting as much as you would like to, which is very interesting. The content is a takeaway. The reason behind that really is to not influence preferential bias. They don't want somebody to say, well, King whoever said this, so that means the truth.
Yeah, or
You know what
fuck
I mean?
that guy. I don't believe nothing he says.
Right. Participants include political leaders, experts of industry, finance, academia, and the media, numbering between 120 and 150 attendees at each meeting. Attendees are entitled to use the information gained at the meetings, but not attribute the name of the speaker. This is to encourage candid debate while maintaining privacy, a provision that has fed conspiracy theories from both the left and the right. So this is a big problem for the conspiracy circles out there. They hate privacy, and especially exclusive privacy, like is the Chatham House Rules. Established in 1954 and has met every year since. The group's agenda originally to prevent another world war. That's what they originally met for. They wanted to put together the leaders of state, the leaders of
So it's still going
politics.
on.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely. Some members, Bill Clinton,
Bill Clinton, he's a member.
Bill Clinton, Margaret Thatcher, Angela Merkel, Tony Blair, Henry Kissinger are just some of the members.
I mean, some of these are presidents and prime ministers. and
100%.
stuff. Holy shit!
Yeah,
Okay.
these are heads of state around the world. So yeah, it's big deals. Some of the conspiracies. So some of these are founded in truth, and some of these are founded in just pure conspiracy. The creation of the European Union, the invasion of Iraq, the bombing of Serbia, development of a one world government, former Cuban President Fidel Castro's article, he accused the group of manipulating the public. The irony in that statement alone. Agenda-driven lobbying sourced from the group. So this is kind of interesting. If that particular group and the notes that are derived from those groups has been focused in lobbying, which it has been in the past. There has been articles that have come out of those meetings that have to do with lobbying for specific political agendas, but they're all benign. It's nothing like, it's like climate change kind of stuff. It's nothing that's like, get rid of this dictator. None of that shit comes out of there. It's all very benign and very innocent in nature. But they don't ever say who the information comes from. It's kind of the point of the group. Known topics of conversation include Brexit, recently, cybersecurity, and climate change. So,
hard Brexit.
Yeah. So that is the Bilderberg Group.
Whatever happened with Brexit, speaking of tangent, whatever happened with Brexit? Did they do it? I guess they did it, right?
Yeah, they did it.
How did it go? I mean, are they all...
The
It's
people
still
hate
going
it.
awful. Okay.
100%. Yeah, people not stoked. Was not a thing for the average person. Not
But
great.
they wouldn't go back and re-vote on it. I guess that's just not how it works.
Nope. They would have to ask to rejoin, and it's a whole thing, and change currency back to it, and it's a whole... I had a Scottish member on my old team. She was awesome, but she was like, yeah, it fucking sucks for my family did a lot of international commerce, which, I mean, to them was like from the UK to mainland Europe, so it's international, but they're like, yeah, so now it's like taxed way higher. I don't think my dad's going to be able to stay in his international real estate and stuff. Like,
oh yeah, I've heard stuff about that. Like, I had some houses in France, now I can't fucking get to them, or I can't do this.
I can't get to my house. Number 3. This one I had no idea of, but the essence behind this one makes a lot of sense because of its secrecy. This is called the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. You ever heard of this? This sounds like the one I made up.
The Golden Dong.
The Golden Dawn. Founded by Peter North.
Sounds great.
No, this sounds like the one I would have made up, but I promise you, none of these are a twist. None of these I made up. The Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, Latin. I just wanted to throw this in there because it sounds cool and it reminds me of Josh's daughter. Ordo Hermecutus Aurorae Aurorae. Kind of a cool little twist. Or more commonly, the Golden Dawn, which is Aurora
The
Aurorae.
Golden Dong.
It's a secret society devoted to the study and practice of the occult, metaphysics, the paranormal activities during the late 19th and 20th centuries. So this is magic, guys. This is the cults, the secret cults dealing with magic, which is fucking fascinating.
is Jack Parsons in any way connected to this?
Not that I read.
Dan Aykroyd? I'm just kidding.
No, not that I mean, maybe. I don't know. I don't claim to be the expert on it at this point, but no. Known as the Magical Order, the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn was active in Great Britain and focused its practices in theurgy. I had to look that up. Theurgy is basically just another word for magic. I mean, really all that it is. And spiritual development.
It's not magic, it's illusions, okay? No, I'm just kidding.
Many present-day concepts of ritual and magic that are at the center of contemporary traditions, such as Wicca and Thelema. I don't know what Thelema
Wikipedia?
is. You know Wicca. Wicca
Yes,
is
I do. Yeah,
basically witchcraft.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I don't know what Thelema is.
Yeah, we-
Thelema.
We used to have a New Age section in Barnes & Noble. That's where all these books would go.
Cool. And Books A Million. And was inspired by, but those were both inspired by Golden Dawn, which became one of the world's largest single influences of the 20th century Western occultism. Pretty interesting. The foundational documents of the original Order of the Golden Dawn, known as the cipher manuscripts, give the specific outlines of the grade rituals of the order and prescribe a curriculum. I read that as circumcision of the curriculum.
Prescribe a circumcision. What if you're already circumcised?
Of graduate, then you off with your head. And graduated teachings that encompass the Hermetic Kabbalah, astrology, occult tarot, geomancy, and alchemy. The Golden Dawn system was based on a hierarchy and initiation similar to the Masonic lodges. However, women are admitted on an equal basis with men in this group. While the secret society has rumors of still being active, officially they closed their doors as late as 1978. The last 2 temples in Bristol and New Zealand both have been officially shut down. But there are rumors that this group is still very active in a very secret subculture kind of
Of course. Once you're a prominent secret society, you can never die.
Yeah, no.
You just go into
Because
hiding.
you live through even in pop
Infamy.
culture. Yeah, exactly. Passed on through fairy tales.
I couldn't do a secret society list without having some kind of magic reference in there. I mean, it's Today, it would be the easiest one to disprove by saying, okay, I can join. Just show me there's magic, and I'll join.
Yeah.
Just do one magic trick, but not a trick. Make it real magic. Make something happen. Do alchemy. Make gold out of silver and dust or something.
Oh, dude, that's it. Somebody shows me how to do that, I devote my life to it.
Well, that's the famous alchemist's stone is, the ability to create gold. And that's always been, a striving achievement of alchemists for thousands of years, most likely, but it's never achievable.
So I looked up that other group, Thelema.
Yeah, what is Thelema?
Thelema. I actually think the TH is kind of silent. It's kind of weird. Anyways.
So it's Alema?
Thelema, Balima. I don't know. It's weird. But it's an esoteric and occult social or spiritual philosophy and religious movement developed in the early 1900s by Aleister Crowley. He was a writer, mystic, and ceremonial magician.
Ceremonial magician? Is that like one of the guys you hire for parties?
Yes.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. Number 2. I could not do a secret society list without throwing a nod towards organized crime. So, in essence, a secret society, by how we defined it at the beginning, doesn't have to be benevolent.
We're going to get pinched.
Yeah, kind of. Doesn't have to be religious. Doesn't have to. I mean, it's the secret society is just functioning below, the acceptable standards of society. Be it good, bad, indifferent, whatever it is. So we're going to number 2 is organized crime. So couldn't mention secret societies without a nod to these criminal organizations. These groups have existed for hundreds of recorded years, and some may date back further than that. Each has had its own internal set of hierarchical structures, rules, edicts, belief systems for religion, etc. So I'm going to give 3 examples and kind of definitions behind these of 3 of the examples of some of this organized crime. But there are many more than this. This is just 3 most recognizable examples. Right off the bat is the Yakuza. Yakuza is a crime syndicate, a transnational organization crime syndicate originating in Japan. Known for their strict codes of conduct, organized fiefdom, unconventional ritual practices. They actually do something called Yub-Itsumi. Yub-Itsumi. You guys take a guess at what this ritual is.
Is that where you run really hard to shove everybody into the subway train? Wow,
no,
that's a
flashback
from a really old show.
Yeah.
That was yours, Josh, wasn't it? Whose episode was that?
I don't remember. It was definitely in here, though.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
It was like it was yours. It was like the
Dangerous Ways of Traveling.
No, it was like weird jobs that you can get. And one of the jobs was in Japan, ways to make money. You had to run really hard and just shove these people get as many people as you could.
Think more criminal than that. Think more. These guys are like the Yakuza are like the very organized thugs of Japan. So think more criminal than that. If you don't pay your Yakuza guy, something's going to happen to you.
You go rob a store. You got to go enforce the threat. Be the.
I see what you're saying. No. So Yub-Itsumi is it's a message that is sent. It's the removal of your left little finger. That's a practice that Yakuza is very known for doing. If you offend the Yakuza somehow, you're a four-fingered left-handed dude. This is how you're going to live out the rest of your life. They're synonymous with sharp suits.
They're synonyms.
With sharp suits, heavily tattooed bodies, and slicked hair. They are still regarded as one of the most sophisticated and wealthiest criminal organizations in the world. Another example of this organized crime is mafia. And this isn't just American mafia like we're familiar with, like the Italian.
How you doing?
Exactly. A mafia is a type of organized crime syndicate whose primary actives are protection, racketeering, arbitrating disputes between criminals, and brokering and enforcing illegal agreements and transactions. Multiple mafias exist, including the Sicilian Mafia, Italian-American Mafia, Italian Mafia, Russian Mafia, and many more. Those are just some of the top mafias that are out there. All had similar hierarchical structure, as well as unique codes of conduct and internal laws. So all of us have seen the famous, movies and books and what have you about mafias.
Godfather.
Yeah, 100%.
And Goodfellas. That's probably my favorite, Goodfellas.
Goodfellas is good.
Man.
You laughing at me?
Yeah. You laughing at me? Why am I funny? How am I funny? Fucking tell me how I'm funny. No, you said. You said.
So mafia for sure. International mafias. There's not just one of them, but lots of them. And they're extremely organized.
Tony Soprano?
Extremely secret. in their laws, because they have their own internal sets of laws. They have their own internal sets of policies and codes of conduct, and it is not to be talked about unless you're in the mafia or that particular group.
Is Fight Club on your list?
No, Fight Club.
Okay.
I'm gonna throw another nod for organized crime. This is the last one for organized crime, but I'm throwing the nod over to Triad. Similar to Yakuza.
Oh, that's Chinese.
You're 100% right. Similar to Yakuza with transnational members, but based in the Greater China. There are two major types: dark forces, loosely organized group, and black societies, more mature criminal organizations. I think that's how that translation happens for those two different groups. Two features which distinguish a black society from a dark society are the ability to achieve illegal control over local markets and receiving police protection. So they are so influenceable in their jurisdictions or their areas or whatever that they can control market values and have the local official authorities to protect them. So organized crime is definitely going to take a nod here, because that can go back as far back. I mean, even piracy goes far back as you want to. There's definitely organized crime. So we're throwing a nod into there for them. All right, I saved the best for number one. You said it earlier.
I did.
It's kind of a given.
Okay.
Scientology.
I thought that was a religion, not a secret society.
Didn't start out that way.
Okay.
Just what makes it so interesting.
L. Ron Hubbard.
Okay.
We're gonna get fair gamed.
So this is it. So this one's a big one, but it's fucking fascinating as hell to me. So where do I start? Let's start with the quote from the founder of Scientology. Quote, "You don't get rich writing science fiction. If you want to get rich, you start a religion."
L. Ron Hubbard.
L. Ron Hubbard. 1954, 56, somewhere in there. Scientology is defined as many things: a cult, a secret society, a religious movement, and a business. Scientology followers believe that a human is an immortal spiritual being called a thetan, or thetan. Pardon me, I need to take a sip of soda. Scientologists got me all dry mouth. So humans are these thetans, Thetans. I think I'm adding an extra A in there. Thetans, that is resident in a physical body. So you're an immortal being. You just happen to be occupying your physical body at this moment. The thetan has had countless past lives and have all been observed in advance. I'm kind of telling some of the lore of the religion side of it, and then we'll kind of go back a little bit to its foundation, like where Scientology actually began. Scientologists undergo audits, which the auditor is looking for a recount of specific events. Part of these events, from past lives perhaps, include meeting Xenu, spelled Xenu. Xenu was a ruler of a confederation of planets 70 million years ago who brought aliens to Earth, then killed them all in a nuclear apocalypse.
That's convenient.
Yeah. This is part of the secret sauce that is only known to the top level Scientologists. So I did a spoiler basically for you, building you up all the way to the very last level of Scientology is when you find out about Xenu and that he brought, all these different alien races to Earth and killed them all. So, yeah, whatever. Hubbard, again, L. Ron Hubbard, published Dianetics, The Evolution of a Science. The book talks about the proposition of psychological practice called auditing that assists a conscious subject to recall trauma of their past. So think of this from a psychological perspective. Hubbard originally wrote this book with a new way to diagnose and treat somebody that has trauma. So it wasn't only meant to be this crazy sci-fi style religious zealot beliefs about some crazy theories. It actually started with his assessment that you can treat trauma, especially something like a repressed memory, through his method, through this Dianetics method. So that's where it started. He originally had no intent that it was going to be the foundation of Scientology, but he had no idea that it would draw such a strong growing. The stated intent was to free the subject's past trauma influences by removal of these things called engrams or painful memories. So originally, devil's advocate here, he did not start Scientology or Dianetics in this case with the intent of being a religious, patriarch or religious leader of any kind. He literally started it because he thought he was going to help people overcome past trauma. So from a psychological perspective, he's not a doctor, by the way. Just make sure we clarify that. He is not a medical professional of any kind. He is a writer.
Yeah, wrote great science fiction books.
know about great. Dianetics appealed to a broad range of people who used instructions from the book and applied this method to each other, becoming practitioners themselves, which is kind of appealing. You didn't have to go to medical school for 8 years to be able to practice some of the stuff that he taught in these books. In January 1951, the New Jersey Board of Medical Examiners began proceedings against Hubbard and Dianetics Research Foundation for teaching medicine without a license, which eventually led to that foundation's bankruptcy. So they bankrupted out pretty damn quick. L. Ron Hubbard originally intended for Scientology to be considered a science, as stated in his writings. In May 1952, Scientology was organized to put this intended science into practice. And in the same year, Hubbard published a new set of teachings as Scientology, a religious philosophy. So after he got in trouble for approaching it from the medical perspective, he's like, well, how can I avoid getting into trouble?
From the religious
Let's make it a religious practice, not a medical practice. Guess what? You then get tax-free, you get...
they didn't get it right away, but they did get it, in the 90s or something like that.
Hubbard later went on...
2000, something like that.
Hubbard later went on to form 3 church Scientology organizations. A, quote, Church of American Science, a, quote, Church of Scientology, and a, quote, Church of Spiritual Engineering. And we all know Church of Scientology pretty famously. Scientology also faced scrutiny from the FDA. The FDA raided and seized hundreds of what are called, quote, e-meters, which were auditors' tools for assessing a subject. While the seizure and supplemental lawsuit were lost by the FDA, the courts required Scientology to label the devices religious artifacts. They couldn't label them medical device or whatever. They had to label them religious artifacts. And they had to pay pretty hefty fines and the entire FDA's lawsuit costs, which was pretty interesting. Hubbard, this is when it kind of starts to go off the rails. Not that it hasn't already. Hubbard formed the ship-based, like sea ship-based sea organization, or Sea Org, yeah, which operated 3 ships: the Diana, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. No, the Diana, the Athena, and the flagship Apollo. 1 month after establishing Sea Org, Hubbard announced that he had made a breakthrough discovery, the result of which were the OT3 materials, purporting, and I'll explain what OT is here in just a second, purporting to provide a method for overcoming factors inhibiting spiritual progress.
Are those the levels?
That's the levels.
That you pay for?
Basically.
You do?
Yeah. What is OT3? So in Scientology, operating thetan, or OT, is a spiritual state above clear. Clear, I think, is just nothing. I think you're just a regular citizen. You're a barbarian, according to... Yeah, we're all barbarians, according to
Muggles.
Skull and Bones.
Or Muggles.
It is defined... OT is defined as knowing and willing cause over life, thought, matter, energy, space, and time, also known as MEST, M-E-S-T. It's an acronym founded by Scientology. According to the religious scholar J. Gordon Melton, it's basically a variation of the Gnostic myth about souls falling into matter and the encumbrance that come with that. Well, I think we were all thinking that, right?
Yeah,
we were
pretty close to where I landed.
With the exception that instead of divine intervention, there is alien intervention. So I'm not going to explain all the different OT levels, but basically OT1 is you pass the E-meter and you are an awoken thetan. All right, you're okay. You can now begin your progression to spiritual enlightenment or spiritual elevation or whatever the fuck they wanted to call it. The different levels have different names. Like OT3 is Wall of Fire. OT4 is OT Drug Rundown. OT5 is New Era Dianetics for OTs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Finally, the OT8. OT8 is the top level, and that is Truth Revealed. And spoiler, going back to the beginning, the truth is that through this use of e-meters and these audits, they can discover if you've actually met Xenu in a past life 70 million years ago. So their whole theology is based around these crazy concepts, and we're probably going to get subpoenaed for this or cease and desisted for this.
Fair game. That's fair game is when they they go after you if you denigrate Scientology, if you speak of Scientology in a
Bring
super
it-
negative
Bring
way.
it on.
Please?
Yes.
They make it a policy to go after you,
Listen.
and they call that policy,
All right.
or used to call it fair game. They don't call it that now anymore, but they still practice
If
it.
you're a Scientologist and you're listening to this episode of The Twisted Tin and you're getting very upset because we're shitting all over your fake religion, please sue us. I would
Right?
love the
But here's the
controversy.
thing.
I would love.
They're not going to sue you. They're going to harass you.
Okay, fine. Harass me.
Your family. Harass your kids. Harass your son at school. This is the practices they do. This is what fair gaming is.
Are you scared?
Now, I'm just letting you know. This is what
Bring
they
it
do.
on.
This is what they're known to do.
There ain't no Scientologist ever going to hear this episode.
Yeah, probably not.
But if you are, opposite end of that spectrum, come enlighten us.
As a patron,
Please.
become a patron.
To be fair, if we did have a Scientologist that's an OT 8 or 74 or whatever the fuck numbers it goes to, I would love that intel.
I'd love that. I'd
that
love to see
information.
your top 10 list, whatever you come up with.
Yeah, show me your
That could be
membership.
just as crazy as the Flat Earth episode was. All right. Not to enlighten that. Oh, no, I'm going to liken both of them. All right. There are two versions of OT8, by the way. The original version that rolled out in 1988 that was authored by Hubbard himself, and the revised version that was rolled out in 1991 by an unnamed editor. Both were released after L. Ron Hubbard's death. The original contains a doomsday prophecy that the Galactic Confederacy will return soon and telepathically enslave the universe. But Hubbard wrote that he will return after his death and in a Messiah-like role, halt a series of events designed to make happy slaves of us all. That's it.
Well, hey guys, check out this new branch of science I discovered. We're actually ancient aliens who are the remnants of a 70-million-year-old galactic warlord. Science, yeah.
I'm gonna
it's
laugh
the
when-
50s.
I'm going to laugh when one of these days, all the crazy shit we hear throughout the world of all the possibilities, and it turned out that Scientology was the one that was right.
There is a Xenu.
Xenu shows
Xenu
up.
was real? Holy shit.
So that is Adam's
fun.
top 10 secret societies.
That was pretty cool. That was
I had to throw in their crime in there, the crime syndications, only because
Absolutely.
they are secretive in nature.
They are. 100%. Yes.
And I couldn't. I mean, there was plenty of other secret societies you could throw in there, but that whole crime category I just wanted to add in there. It's kind of what originally started it as secret crime organizations. That's where it
cool.
originally started and kind of manipulated itself into this cooler secret
it's funny
society.
how that happens.
Oh yeah, our lists evolve.
So Ron, you're next.
That's right, I am, Governor. Yeah, I'm next.
It's got to be about accents or something. It's got to. I don't.
The top 10 worst Ron accents.
He's been
Let's
dropping.
do it.
He's like, I've been saying something every episode for like 2 months. You guys are just dumb.
Thing is, if it is
Something like
about
that.
accents, Ron's been doing that his whole life, so it couldn't be as simple as that. He's quiet, so maybe you're onto something.
I have nothing to say.
Nailed it.
Oh goodness! Oh, God, my mouth is dry as shit. All right, so let's throw a big thank you out to our listeners that participate in Discord. You hear the show live when we're recording it, so as they say, warts and all, you get the good, the bad, and any edits we don't happen to take out, which we aren't really editing that much lately. So
Yeah, we're good at this now.
most of our listeners, I don't know about good, we're just lazier, or maybe I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, something
But
like that.
thank you to the patrons as well, to our council members. We appreciate you guys. If you want to become a Twisted 10 council member, go over to twisted10.com. Actually, take that back. Go over to patreon.com/twisted10 and take a look at the different roles that we've got set up in there for you.
You can do it through twisted10.com too.
Is there a link inside Twisted? Yeah, there's a link
center
inside
of the page. Yeah,
twisted10.com.
it's like right in the center.
It tells you how often I go there.
I know.
Hey, go buy some merch if you're interested in sporting some Twisted 10 gear. Hey, can we come up with a discount code for our listeners?
Yeah.
Not to say anybody would buy from our website except our listeners.
We'll be losing money unless we give them 50 cents off. But that sounds good.
That's, I mean, Ron's right though. So we're not making money at all on our merch stuff. It doesn't like go to our pockets. So
It's just for
it's just
branding.
It's cool swag. Yeah, it's cool stuff. So we like it. I got a hat. I like my hat.
I want to order the bag. I want to get that bag. I want to get that thing in. So.
Cool.
All right. Well, thank you guys very much. On behalf of the Twisted 10, I'm Adam.
Ron.
And I'm Josh.
And we will see you guys next week. Let's go do the after show.